Welcome everyone to Active FM. I'm joined here with Erez Agam. Is that right? Erez
Exactly.
Agam, right?
Delighted to be here.
Awesome. So it's me, John Shamshum, otherwise known as DJ Mayo. We actually joined in here with Erez Agam. He actually wrote a very fascinating book, and I read through his website as well. It is basically the 100% guide how to immigrate into Germany. So if anybody out there who's interested in immigration to Germany, he's done such a wonderful guide on how to do so. I'd actually just like to find out. So I'm a South African and I wanted to immigrate to Germany. What's the process? If you could give me like a rundown, how do I get there? How do I immigrate?
Of course. First of all, you got to know, John, that immigration, the term immigration is very different from relocation or temporary movement.
Okay.
Because you gotta first treat it as an immigration process. And what do I mean by that? Immigration is a commitment, basically. So you know right now, John, that you're going to live elsewhere permanently. It's not a holiday, it's not a vacation time, it's not a temporary movement. You know that you're going to build your life. That's why you need to treat it as a commitment from start. That's why immigration, the word immigration, is very, very powerful, much more than relocation or temporary movement. People tend to confuse, but first, before you even start, I would suggest to work on your mindset. Understand that you're going to make that transaction. Understand that you're going to immerse yourself into a long procedure. And people tend to think, hey, it's going to be fun, it's going to be cool, I'm going to move to a new country. It is, but it's also going to be very, very exhausting. It's also going to be not so much fun. It's also going to be difficult. So first of all, ask yourself, is this really, really what you want to do? Okay? Because it's a very, very important question to ask yourself.
I'm guessing you'd have to visit a few times, right, before you make such a serious...
Well, I visited the country in 2012, and then I actually immigrated in 2016. I personally visited the country, of course, before, but you don't have to. I mean, important enough that you know the quality of life there, that you know that people, maybe you already know people who already living there, maybe you already have connections there. So you can watch even some documentaries, you know, but you don't have to visit there. So let's sit down for a moment and ask ourselves, okay, where do we see our future? Is this really something that we plan to do? Because one of the difficult parts is to step out of your comfort zone. Okay. You know, right now you're in South Africa, you have your routine life, you have your family, your friends. So, and if I tell you right now, John, just go and live in a country and you don't know the language, you don't know basically anything, it's going to be very, very difficult for you, mentally speaking. Maybe not financially, but mentally first. Okay? So once you set up your mind that this is what you want to do, you research about several destinations and you decide that this is the step that you're looking forward to, you gotta navigate your immigration process and ask yourself, okay, I'm doing it. So what am I going to do there? Am I going to study? Am I going to work? Because there are also different types of visas. Okay. Of course, we're not talking about a European passport holder. He can just come and stay unlimited time in Germany. But first plan, which route is the best route for you regarding immigration. And then you can actually plan your immigration process better.
Okay. No, look. So some of the questions that I had as well when looking, because I have a friend, his name is Christian Pretorius. He actually moved outside. In the beginning of this year, he was invited that side because of his expertise in tech, and he's actually a CEO of a company there now. So how important is it? I mean, like, let's say, so you've gone there now. how important is it during the immigration process, the skills that you have? Like, does that make things faster? Like, let's say you know German. Like, let's say you have a degree. Does that make the process any quicker?
Well, I would agree about the German language. Of course, it helps.
Mm.
But, and this is what I tell everybody who's searching for a job, learning German is a long process. It will take you several years. That's what I would suggest to focus on your skills.
Okay.
Let's say that you know that you are the best host ever, and you want to host a show over there. Or let's say that you are the best engineer. Ask yourself what is it that you do best, and then when you know what you do best, then you can actually highlight it on your resume, and then focus on that skill. See, the thing is with employers, they search you as a talented person.
Mm.
And once they find your talent, you can actually they will be more than happy to hire you. But of course, German language is important. I do recommend for anybody to learn the language as soon as possible. It also will give you bonus points if you do apply for a position. Then the employer sees that you speak even basic German, then he will prefer to hire you over a foreigner who do not speak German at all. That will definitely give you bonus points. But let's talk about global changes right now for a second, John. Right now, I recently read an article that Germany has a shortage right now with foreigners workers. So they must increase labor force. They must bring more immigrants. So right now, the population is getting older, and they need young labor force. That's why they're willing to accept, and they have open borders. So don't think to yourself, I'm not professional enough. I didn't study in the university. I have a degree, but it's not enough. This is what I always hear from people. Maybe they have this professional list of high qualified people. I tell you right now, it's a fake news. Don't listen to that stuff at all. You can work, and you can be very, very happy. You can do whatever you do here, you can do there. So people tend to think, don't never underestimate yourself. So people have done the immigration process. People who come from poverty, people who with no education, completed the immigration process. So never think I'm not qualified enough. Always remember that people have done it before. People with zero education, formal education, done it. Anybody can do it. I've done it. I think everybody can do it.
Understood. Okay. That's quite that's quite it makes the whole idea seem a lot less daunting, I think. Especially like when you're going to move that side. That actually leads to my next question. I actually wanted to ask, so what is the quality of lifestyle like in comparison to like a place like South Africa, for example, in comparison to other first world and third world countries, like for example America, and then you'd have your third world country, something like South Africa or other African countries in the area. So like just at the base level of the quality of lifestyle, like the price of a kilo of meat or a loaf of bread, just to have an idea of how what's buying power look like.
So you ask a very interesting question, because one of the reasons I immigrated to Germany was because of the high quality of life. Now, what do I mean by high quality of life? Of course, we're talking, as you just mentioned, the low cost of living. You can buy groceries at a reasonable prices. You have reasonable renting prices. But furthermore, you also have one of the best transportations in the world. I don't have to buy my own car. I save money. I don't have to pay for tests every year. I don't have to pay for gas. I can move around very, very fast, from one point to the other. I can use bus, I can use the metro, I can use tram, I can use, I can even cycle. And when you, so cities, Berlin is a very, very high quality city, also in terms of transportation, but not only Berlin, all of Germany is like that, Europe in general. So that's why I like the high quality life of Europe. But let's also discuss, let's also talk about the economic model. Now, as you may know, if we take a look at cities right now, like New York, London, Singapore, what is the common thing that they all have?
Capitalism.
Exactly. They are very, very capitalistic cities, and therefore their prices are skyrocketing. Now, I don't know if you know, but people now are leaving New York City. People, London is only a city considered to be, for many, only cities for billionaires. Singapore also very expensive. California, Los Angeles now is getting more and more expensive. So people are leaving those cities now. Why? Now, if you take a look at Berlin, Berlin is still now that the prices are increasing dramatically, not only here but all over the world. But why Berlin managed to keep the prices low for a long time? Have you asked yourself that question?
I'm imagining this government influence on capping something. I'm not exactly too sure.
So I'll explain, John. See, let's go back to the city's history, to German history. What happened to the country? Let's go back to the World War II. After World War II, the country, obviously, the city of Berlin, in particular, was traumatized. Then the Cold War started. The city was divided between East and West. The East side was obviously more socialist side. The West side was more capitalistic Western side, right? And the city actually was traumatized another time because people were separated from their families, their loved ones. They could not see each other. And after many years, in 1989, the wall fell and people were able to reunite again.
Okay.
So, and then, the whole development acceleration started. But then again, even though it was open to the world, let's at the beginning of the 90s, the prices, people still had the influence from the East, from the socialism side. So that's why the prices were still cheap. So basically, you still had a high quality of life, but with cheap prices, because it was not fully capitalistic, as you mentioned, like other cities like London, New York, and Singapore, for example. So, and that's what maintained the prices. That was the reason that maintained the prices. Of course, still they had this. This is a very humanitarian country. They take care of people. They have a health insurance, and this is another factor why you should live in this country, because of all of those elements. But in general, there are more advantages. For example, a low crime rate. Another fact that is this city is not fully industrial like London or New York. It's actually forbidden to buy to build skyscrapers in certain areas. So in the city itself, you have a chance to see a lot of green areas. It's actually very nice, very lively city, international city. Immigration is booming right now, and Germany considered to be the second place, the most popular country in terms of immigration in Europe, and in second place after US, after the United States in terms of immigration. And actually, we are living in historical times now in Germany.
Yeah. So this is actually something that I wanted to. Okay, so let's say you have a whole bunch of people immigrating, and the workforce is busy filling up, and that's exactly what would be attractive the high quality of lifestyle in Germany for anybody immigrating there, and then obviously Germany benefiting from a larger workforce. So the culture that's there in Germany, is there any form of negativity or racism of any kind amongst the culture? Like, for example, can a Chinese or black or Dutch person be there and then still feel welcome? And like, I understand, I mean, like there are cultural differences and there are difficulties between those, but like, is there any like straight up racism of any kind? I mean, we still have it here in South Africa. That is how it remains here today. Not to the extent that it was, but it does exist. So I don't know if is there any day-to-day racism of any kind living in Germany for an immigrant?
Well, John, in my book, I actually wrote a chapter that's called "Breaking Stigmas." And when I was a kid, I heard I grew up with a lot of negativity toward Germany. Why? I came from Israel. People experienced the Holocaust, and it was it was very horrifying experience for many families. And then as a kid, you always see those movies, those Hollywood films where the Americans are the good guys, the Germans are the bad guys, and all the time, when somebody mentioned the word Germany, you always think about the Holocaust, World War II, the Cold War maybe, and so on. Those were the thoughts that I had growing up. And then you realize, after I've been doing my research, I read more and more, and then I realized that it's the most tolerant humanitarian country. And after I got to Germany, by the way, I never experienced any anti-Semitism, any racism, or anything like that. You realize that this is a very, very sensitive issue because of the past, because of what happened. They actually treat it in a very, very sensitive manner. So if something like that, if someone even think about hurting another person or have racism toward him, they will stand up and and fight against it immediately. And I think the tolerance is not only because of guilt, but the tolerance is also because they have huge amount of foreigners. So if you live in a place with lots of foreigners and immigrants, everyone is trying to help one another, and it's like a motivation pot for everyone. So when I started my journey, I only experience good I only experience good things, let's say this. And I was in lots of interactions with other immigrants, and we all helped each other, and none of us, I mean, at least not me, I didn't experience anything like it. So another thing I want to mention, they have every year, like they have a carnival, a huge culture carnival, and people from all over the world are coming to Berlin, and they have food stands, they have a parade on the third day, and people are just enjoying, and you feel like this is not the Germany that we remember. This is a new Germany, a tolerance one. Yeah. Not to mention that they have also the large Holocaust memorial in the central place of the city. So they acknowledge and they respect all of those events that happened in the past.
Interesting. Okay, that's a very different idea that I have. Look, I mean, I've spoken to I have about 3 German friends that side, and whenever I speak to them, I haven't really asked them the question directly yet, but it is when they speak, I don't hear any form of negativity or backlash or difficulty with interacting with other people. It's mostly the culture has become more be kind as often as possible, as openly as possible, whenever. So it's a new culture of kindness. I do see that it is from interacting with them. a reformed Germany. I do think so. Like it is new. Um,
And another thing I want to mention, look what happened, what is happening now in the world. You know, we have lots of refugees from Afghanistan, from Syria, from Ukraine right now. They all prefer to come to Germany because of those reasons, because of the acceptance. And I think that the country made tremendous change, and now it's really, really open, and you feel very, very, you know, feel good. You feel the welcoming atmosphere that they have, for sure.
What nationality are you, Erez?
I'm from Israel originally, and you know, looking back, you know, I didn't like the whole political tension. I didn't like the heat. I didn't like the fact that that there's no work-life balance. Once again, we're talking about capitalistic country, and I didn't see any future. You know, I thought basically before I immigrated, I asked myself, where do I see my future? And this is another thing that, as I mentioned before, it's a very, very important question to ask, because you need to have a plan. You need to build a future for yourself. And
look, so I'm half Israeli. My dad is Israeli. My mom is Afrikaans. So I do have family in Israel. And what I do notice is that there is a very Californian type culture that I notice, and I'm not slating any country, whatever it is, but often capitalistic countries with very, very large, with the intention to become rich fast, is that the culture there it's high hustle culture. It is high. You have no work-life balance. That, like what you just mentioned now. If you want to have a successful, well-rounded life, and look, I mean, the country overall, it does have those qualities of Europe, but it is the idea of the high hustle culture. A lot of my uncles, for example, one of them owns a panel beating shop, another one owns a restaurant business. They are quite successful, but like the amount of time that they have for their families is maybe 2 hours on a Sunday, something like that. My other cousins, they work as a hairdresser and a barber, and they get paid well for it, but you have to be in the shop. You have to be in the shop. There's no well-balanced lifestyle. I understood, obviously, work is work, but then you have that balance to it.
No, not only that, but also if we take a look at the employment stability, for example, there is no employment stability. Here you have contracts. Here it's more you have rights as a salaried employee, for example. Over there is also no stability regarding politics. So see what's going on right now. You know, always you know, in the last 2 years they had 4 elections. There is no stability, and once you do not have stability in politics, you cannot have stability in other fields in life. So I guess once again, you got to ask yourself, where do you see yourself? Where is your future? And really, if you live in a certain country, ask yourself, it doesn't matter what country, ask yourself, okay, I'm a citizen now, I pay taxes. Am I getting those taxes back? Is it okay, I'm contributing to the country, but what the country is doing for me? And this is another important question, because a lot of people who come to Germany, they don't have transparency with you know, with the governments and with their own country's government, and it's a shame, you know.
I just also wanted to find out as well. So the Germans, do they have a very strong individualistic culture? Do they have like their own culture, like, or they're easily influenced by outsiders? But like, do they have a culture that is rooted in like in their stories? Like, because stories play a big part in the way that they grow up. And tying into that, how strong is that culture also embedded in religion? So yeah, it's just that. So what is that the culture like? Is it's strongly German, and how does that also play into religion?
Well, it depends which part. So you have, of course, the more conservative parts. You have more open-minded parts like Berlin City, like other international cities like Düsseldorf, for example. But actually, the thing is, the German mentality is more like a quiet mentality. They really care about privacy. They really care about about quality life as well. But they really care about privacy. They really care about the individual, as you mentioned. So they're very individual people, and it's actually I like that mentality because I'm a private person myself. I like my own quiet. I mean, uh, I'm not like I just I like I'm actually an introvert, which I also mentioned that in the book. So I guess this mentality is a very good mentality for me as an individual.
Interesting. Okay. No, I understand. Yeah. Look, it is three of the friends that I have that are there in Germany. They are all introverts and they love it. They go to the coffee shops and they are left alone, but interactions it is welcome because they don't jump on each other or something like it. You know what I mean? Look, thing that they love about the country as well. It's just the peace of the country as well, and people not invading on each other's privacy. I think that's something that I found as well. And then also, I just want to find out: do you have any funny travel stories? Like, is anything strange or weird that's happened? Is he traveling between Germany and out, and maybe at the border? Did you find anything weird in your suitcase afterwards? Was anything removed?
No, no. Once again, I think the whole experience, when you come to Europe, life will be more at ease. Life will be at a slow pace.
Mm.
So I guess you have less tension, and you have less tension, and what I found actually, I met a lot of people from Arab countries, lots of immigrants from Arab countries, and we are all getting along, and we find it weird that people cannot get along in the Middle East. And this is something that is very, very different because I think that government should solve any conflict in the Middle East, and the population itself, they don't want any conflicts, and that's why I think it's if you look at the future, if you look at what's going on, I think if you really not into the whole political tension, then I think it's one of the main factors that will help you to decide if you do want to stay or leave the Middle East, basically.
Mm. Mm. Okay. And what is a locally favored food? What do Germans like eating? What is there something that's specific to Germans that they would eat maybe 3 times a week?
Well, I'll surprise you right now because in Berlin there is no specific food.
Is it?
It's a multi-cultural city. That's where you can find a lot of restaurants from all over the world. So there is no specific dish. But if you ask the common German, a lot of them will say Kartoffelsalat, which means potato salad, for example.
Ah,
So
okay.
of course, I think that they enjoy the variety of the cultures that we have here, and I like to eat Middle Eastern food. I like to eat hummus, for example, and
Mustachina.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I guess it's still I still carry with me the food that I used to eat, back in the Middle East, but the variety is wide regarding foods and restaurants.
Okay. No, I understood. And then so it's also so the in terms of the people themselves, right? How politically involved are they? So like if there is something that needs to be changed on a political level, what freedom do they have in terms of casting a vote or having their opinions heard? Does the government pay attention to what's written on Twitter? from the people, for example? Because I know that Twitter is used as a political platform to voice opinions. So how much freedom do they have to express those opinions, and how often is that heard in Germany?
Good question. So once again, we are living in a free country, open-minded country. So you can demonstrate, you can do, you can state your opinion. I think it's a very, very good thing. They really care about protection of the environment. About that's why also, by the way, they have a separation with trash. So they have like whenever you want to take out the trash, you will notice that it's separated. So you'll have to put the glass in one can, the general one in another can, the cartons on the third can. So everything is designed to be like a protection for the environment. What's going on in the world regarding humanitarian issues is very, very important too. I think that they like nature. They like they're not too much into materialism. So I guess the original Berliner, he couldn't care less if he has a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari. And I think it's great because it's more like experience based mentality rather than materialism and hey, I have a bigger house, I have a villa. It's not that important. I think they're focusing more on experiences, on free world, as I mentioned, acceptance. And this is another magical thing about the city, I think.
Sure. No, wow. That is, yeah, look, I think also with the Middle East as well, I think that's like experience-based things is actually what we want as humans. I think it's a healthy way of living. And it is when we're starting to compare ourselves to the next person, it becomes difficult just to live a healthy life. I just wanted to find out, so from your book, are there any points that you'd like to mention there that we haven't discussed so far? I have went through some of this stuff in it. I just like to find out from your book if there's anything there that I didn't touch on that would seem important.
Sure. So first of all, the book is called Berlin's Immigration Secrets. You can find it on Amazon. You can purchase either the paperback or the Kindle version. And the book I describe actually, it's my own memoir. It's my own journey as I arrived into Berlin with nothing but a suitcase. And I tell everything that happened to me ever since. And the book is very, very detailed. I also state addresses of bureaucratic institutes. I state dates. I state everything that happened to me, people I've met, apartment I need to switch, relationships between one person to the other, how to find a job, what you should focus during or before your interview, what questions should you ask regarding a job, employees' rights, salaried employees' rights in Berlin, how to convert your driver license into a German one, and many, many more other questions. So I think the book is not only the ultimate immigration guide, but it is also emotional experience for the reader, and this was very, very important to me to show when I wrote the book. So of course you can read more about it in my on my website, immigrationsecrets.net. You can find me on LinkedIn, Erez Agam. And I also have a Facebook page called Berlin's Immigration Secrets. I update stuff occasionally, updates regarding the city and some immigration policies there. So yeah, you can check it out. Enjoy it.
Awesome. It was actually amazing speaking to you. And I only realized halfway through that you're from Israel. Are you Jewish by any chance?
Yeah. Most of people most of us are Jewish. Yeah.
Wow, no, that's awesome. Look, I mean, just to see that happening even in Germany, it's just awesome thing. And it was such a pleasure speaking to you. I enjoyed my time speaking to you. I'm gonna have to let you go there. I'm gonna thank you so much for having you. It's
My
been
pleasure.
a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.